Hey guys, welcome to another video from Overbite Gaming, and today we are taking a look at Armoured Core 6 Fires of Rubicon. Not my first Armoured Core game. I've played one before. I played Armoured Core 4 on the PS3. I remember it being pretty difficult and didn't know why at the time. Boot this up, From Software logo comes up, I'm like, that would be why then. Although I don't think it's as difficult as previous games. There's a bit more latitude in there for you. So the setup for the game is there's this mysterious substance called coral, and it's being used as a data conduit and an energy source. And a while back it was everywhere, and then it kind of blew up. Yeah. So everybody was like, well, shit. That was good while it lasted, and now it's been rediscovered on Rubicon 3, and obviously the corporations are coming in and they're all fighting over it. And you play I suppose amnesiac mercenary that's been sort of upgraded to have lightning fast reactions at expense of most of his other characteristics. And your first job is to find a mercenary license, which you do by flying a sort of relatively puny armoured core around and searching wrecks for once until you find a license, and then you assume that identity, you become Raven and get involved in the war. Excuse me. Now, it is difficult. No doubt about that. It is a FromSoft game. You will get mullered, but it is also fair in the way it does it. There's no real way of defending yourself other than moving. Moving is a big part of the game. You can just run around. You can slide around on your boosters. You can ascend, or you could activate your sort of like flight mode, which is fast and good, but it only lasts a little while, as does your vertical ascent. It's got a bar, and as soon as you're back on the ground, it fills up really quickly. But while you're actually using it, it goes down pretty quickly too. That's really my one complaint about the controls in this, in that the button for activating your sort of flight mode is left 3 or right or left stick, I suppose. You know, the button under the stick that you press down. And being a ham-fisted asshole, I'm quite, I'm gripping the controller quite tightly, and it's super easy for me to set that off when I don't want to. And there are so many instances where I've just rocketed off somewhere and fallen to my, well, not death, but damage. And I didn't want to do that, or I've just gone hurtling past a group of enemies I want to attack because I just pressed down on the stick a little bit too hard while I was moving. There's definitely a me problem because I'm an idiot, but it's there. So if you're one of the guys that keeps doing that, then yeah, that happens. You have a really good cut sort of armor core assembly area where you buy obviously new parts, very much like previous games. New legs, new torsos, new arms, weapons. You have 4 weapon locations, 1 on each arm and 1 on each shoulder. You can switch them out. Generally speaking, I have rockets on my shoulders, a machine gun in one hand and a sword in the other, because it's a lot easier to withstand some enemies with swords for some reason. You only get 2 swings out of your initial sword before it overheats though, so it's not really a weapon you can rely on too much. It's just like used in special circumstances, like if you need to take out a turret or you've got a shielded enemy, it's really good against those. And the control scheme for that is pretty simple. Triggers for either arm and bumpers for either shoulder, so that's nice and well done. There is a dodge move. You press X or square depending on your platform, and you will boost out of the way, which is really nice and really necessary because this game don't fuck around. It does a lot of damage, but it does it throws you a bone, and we'll get onto that. So, I mean, your first mission is basically, in fact, you got to get out of the factory, right? Fine. Here's a few sort of low health ACs for you to destroy. There we go. You're in the swing of things. Oh, look, it's a bloody massive helicopter attack ship with a ton of health, but it does tons of damage. Thanks, guys. And it's not one of those From Software things where you're supposed to lose. You're supposed to win. It's just difficult. In fairness, I restarted my game because what I tend to do is like I play a game and then I stop playing it, and by the time I've come back to it, I'm like, oh, I can't remember. I've got to do it again. I've got to restart. So it took. I died twice doing it the first time. I died 0 times doing it the second time. So I guess there is a learning curve, and my brain isn't totally inured to taking on new information. I'm not convinced by that either, but we'll go with it. So there's that. Once you sort of realise the tactic, it's not as bad. Performance-wise, very good. From Software have actually allowed you to open up the frame rate a bit. Normally lock off at 60, and this one they've locked off at 120, at least on PC. I believe it's 60 on the consoles. And for the most part, I'm running at 120, which is very nice. There is a mission which takes place in a massive dust storm. It's absolutely spectacular because you've also got a humongous walking weapons platform that you need to get on and destroy. It looks fantastic. It did like knock off 40 of my frames. I was running about 80, which is still absolutely fine, but yeah, you can tell it was doing some work. And that was to be expected. I mean, a giant sandstorm that's occluding your vision, it's going to be intensive, so yeah, whatever, that's fine. That mission was kind of fun. It also sort of, the game expects you to do stuff in certain ways sometimes, and you're kind of like, I'm not used to that because I've just been flying around where I want in the missions before. So this big mining walker thing with this giant weapon that just batters you as you're coming in, you have to go up it, and of course you can fly, so you're just like, oh fuck it, I'll just fly around a bit so I need to destroy, and there we go. No, it's been designed so you can't do that. You have to go up a specific way, and I fall a lot. And even though you've flown up to it, and even after you finish your mission you fly back to the ground, or drop most of it I suppose, if you fall off mid-mission you can't just get back up. No, it pops you back up. It's like any sort of lethal fall. It puts you back up, knocks off a load of your health. There you go, carry on sunshine. Which, you know, it was a bit annoying because I fell off a lot because I didn't realise there was a set route that I should be looking out for. I was just trying to fly to everything. So I got up to like the end boss, which is like this big eye. You have knockout shield generators and then you've got to take out the eye. And I was having trouble because I couldn't get in range of my weapons from cover. So there was a few bits of cover and I'm like stood there, but I can't just pop up and like shoot the eye because it's at range. So I'm like, oh god, what do I do? I suppose I better try and like run in, and of course I fucking hit the left stick down and I'll boost off the side or down. I'm like, shit. Died. Okay, restart from checkpoint. It put me on a platform that was off to the side and down, which was within range, and all I had to do was jack in a box up and shoot the eye. I was like, thanks game. That's super helpful. So yeah, that is one of the nice things about it, and one that makes the difficulty a little bit easier to take on board, is there is checkpoints, and once you start with 3 repair kits, don't repair all of your health, but do most of it. And once those are done, they're done. So there you are. And then when you're destroyed, it just resets you to the start of the checkpoint, but it does refill your repair kits. So if it's a hard mission and you got like 1 repair kit going into the end bad guy, then that's fine, because if you die, you get 3. So that's a really nice way of like offsetting some of the difficulty of the game. I mean, and as I already said, it's not as difficult as a Dark Souls or an Elden Ring, stuff like that. That you won't get your ass kicked, definitely. It's still difficult, but it's not as difficult, I don't think. Certainly the ability to rerun missions is good because it gives you money, and you can buy like expensive parts and buff up your mech and try and out level it a bit, although you will notice that parts unlock as you go through the story, so you're never able to really take huge advantage of it, but you can give yourself the best stuff at that point and give yourself the best shot. There are shields. You can use a shield where it comes down from your back, or one of your shoulder mounted weapons, and you can like bring it down just in time to block stuff. I don't really use it. It only mitigates damage. It doesn't prevent damage entirely. So I just stick with 2 shoulder mounted missiles, and you know, I move basically. Move is your friend in this game. You want to be moving all of the time. All of the time. Most of the common enemies aren't too bad to deal with. Some are a little annoying. They got like shields, and you have to shoot them a whole lot before it like staggers them and opens them up to actually being destroyed. Which is where the sword comes in, because if you get up close to it with that, it just twonks them in 2 shots, and you're like done. So it's a little annoying in that we got a lot of fire coming into you. It's kind of like a 3D bullet hell at times. You'll have missiles coming in. You'll have there's this mission where you've got to like climb this fucking wall, and there's just missile emplacements and gun emplacements all over the damn thing. You're trying to just approach it, and you're just getting smashed by all this incoming fire. So it is a challenging game. If you don't like challenging games, then it's probably not a game for you, although I believe there is a mod which makes it a little bit easier, and of course there are trainers available should you want to go that way, which I have not yet, although could be fun. I don't know. But I'm having a good time. There are multiple endings. It's essentially a decision path that you make. You pick one of 2 decisions, and that dictates the ending you get. Once you've finished one ending, there is New Game Plus, in which there'll be missions for a different faction available. And then if you get both endings, there's actually a 3rd ending you can do, so which is like the final true ending. So there's a lot of replayability because of that, and it's not an easy game, but I imagine like once you've got it, you'll probably be okay once you've got it, because it's kind of like that thing where I'm not going to say get good, but once you understand sort of how the enemies work and what you need to do to avoid them. I mean, things that used to give me problems when I first started playing, I just don't have a problem with anymore. They're just meat for my magic laser sword. It does look fantastic in my opinion. It is a very good looking game. I think ray tracing is in it, but I think it's only in like the garage sections. It's not actually in the game itself, which is probably a good idea, because as nice as ray tracing can look, in this sort of game you want as many frames as you could possibly get, which was always my criticism about like Elden Ring and stuff like that being locked at 60. 60's okay, don't get me wrong, but like when it's Twitch reaction shit, you want as big of an advantage as you can get, so you want highest frame rate possible, just so you get that like millisecond, another second of extra reaction time. Whether or not like humans can actually do that, I don't know. That's a good point, but certainly I'm not capable of doing it, because my brain operates at like 2 frames a second. So it's kind of all lost on me anyway. But yeah, it's a great game. I've really enjoyed my time with it, and I'm going back and continue to play it, trying different mech builds, because that's one of the nice things about the different ways you can play. You could like go for a really lightweight, flimsy mech, but it's fast and mobile, goes in, you know, maybe dual wielding machine pistols, stuff like that. Or you go for a big, tanky, 6-legged mother, and you're just stomping up to bad guys and smashing them because you've got like health coming out your asshole. You know, you really can sort of dictate your AC. Do I keep calling it a mech? I'm sorry if I do. Your armored core, in the way you want to play it, which is really nice. I mean, I'm given like the lag between my brain and my hands. I go for the stompier, tankier ones because like Twitch movement just doesn't work with me. It's like if you punch me in the arm, I'll be like, oh. It's weird. It is quite distracting watching me watch horror movies with jump scares though, because the jump scares go off, everybody else will jump, and I'll just be like, ugh. And like 6 seconds later, I'll be like, ugh. Not really, but you know what I mean. Anyway guys, that's been me waffling on about Armoured Core. It is a full price game, unfortunately, so you do have to put your hand in your back pocket for it. It's not cheap. Regular prices, so like 60 on PC, 70 on console, because console sucks for that sort of thing. I mean, console. I understand Microsoft and PlayStation take their cut. Fine. Steam also takes their cut. But guess what? The developers pay Steam. I don't have to pay Steam. I have to pay Sony and fucking Microsoft, though. Bastards. And this whole thing, oh well, the new generation, so it costs more to make the game. Dude, it's exactly the same hardware as PC. Just fucking make the game and shut up. Anyway, guys, take it easy, and I'll catch you next time.